Greetings and good night, everybody. I have an update for give on a real quick. Right, just bear with me 2 minutes. I'm going to show you why this country now go better and why this country can't better. You understand? This country is riddled with corruption and dirty people who claim to be the protector of the people. These people are agents of corruption, and I'm going to show it and paint it to you see. Right? The forestry division in the forest is the one who's actually lumbering our forest. This has been a long-standing issue. Quickstep is not a playpen for the forestry department to decide what to lumber, when to lumber, who to lumber. The feed is being disrupted, but may I get me information through Tona tonight. Today we get called by Superintendent Minto from the Black River Police Station, right? I met Superintendent Minto last year when he just came into office. I thought he was a good fellow because I thought he had a mission and I saw him doing his work and I observed what he's been doing to clean up a lot of the mess in the parish. But today, Mr. Minto, you turned the table the wrong way because Chief Currie has always been respectful to you. Say that a lie. Hola. You called Chief Currie to help you with issues that you've been having. Say that is a lie. Today you called me and told me that there's an issue in Quickstep. If I heard about it, I told you no because we have no signal in a compound. You said, okay, see if you can find out what's going on because some persons have been blocked in. I said to you, this would not be the first time this has happened, sir, Superintendent. You should check the records to see what happened the last time, why persons were blocked in Quickstep. I made my way over to Quickstep after a funeral that I had this morning. Little after speaking to Superintendent Minto. I tried calling him again, I did not get him. We went in the bus over into Quickstep to meet up with Superintendent Minto and other members of the community of Quickstep. When I went into the community and got down to the square, there was an entourage of police and forestry van and a fire truck and some other vehicles coming out in the opposite direction. So obviously we stopped, a very narrow road. So we stopped, we're in the squares, literally in the heart of Quickstep. So I disembarked, went up to Superintendent Minto and asked him what's the situation and how it has unfolded. So today, when I went to Superintendent Minto told me that the situation he's very displeased with because the roads have been blocked. So I tried to enlighten him as to what the situation is and the challenges that we had. 2 years ago, when there was a similar issue where Quickstep was blocked by residents, they are protesting lumbering in that area. Now, let me say this, Quickstep is a farming community. And yes, lumbering happens in Quickstep. It has been happening for years. Occur? Yes, Maroon lumber. How did that transaction occur? A third-party entity was sent into Quickstep to set up a machine shop, of which the Maroons would sell him the lumber and him would sell it back to the government. At all times, the government has always maintained their position of not directly engaging with the Maroons. So they send agents of the state to come and do their business. So all the train lines you see across Jamaica, right? All the train lines across Jamaica, the Pauline, the wood, the big tough square wood you see now, all that come from over Quickstep. So it's been a playhouse for many years. And since recently, after its demarcation as a protected area, remember, them and them government now label it as a protected area. So what is this? Who is Forestry Division and what is their mandate really? Is it protectionism or is it exploitation under the guise of protectionism? It's the same thing with Backside. We say cockpit country protected area, but we left off one little piece out of what we did agree on first, and all of that is now filled with mining licenses and prospective licenses. So is it protectionism or is it exploitation under the guise of protectionism? What is the forestry department doing with one truckload of mahogany lumber? Tell me, Jamaica. What is the forestry department doing with almost 1,000 foot of mahogany coming out of the heart of cockpit country in the protected area? You tell me. And why is Superintendent Minto escorting them out of the area without a stamp on these lumber, without due process on this situation? I explained the situation to Superintendent Minto. We had that meeting down in Quickstep in Silo 2 years ago. The mayor for Falmouth was there. The mayor for Black River was there. The Custos was there. Senator Dalrymple was there. There were members of the JCF high-ranking officials, the superintendent at the time, who was not Minto. So Superintendent Minto, I urge you again, get your information and gather the history before you come and disrespect indigenous culture in indigenous land and telling me you don't care about treaty or you don't care about Maroon this or whatever. That is your problem. Ignorance of the law is no excuse to the law. The police themselves will tell you that every day.
Ambassador Anu, greetings. This is directly a message to Deputy Superintendent Minto, and we're going to ask this to be a diplomatic message, that it's taken in a diplomatic tone and respectful. To the Jamaica Constabulary Force and to the Jamaica Defense Force that was present today, under maybe most likely false information and a false narrative. The situation exists that lumber coming out of Maroon territory is Maroon lumber, Maroon assets. Maroon that has been... Huh? The stamp, yeah, the stamp. Lumber that has been pre-cut already is a false narrative, and we completely reject it. The main issue that Akongpong has tonight, and we're directly speaking to... Greetings. You can hear me? Wave your hand if you can hear me. Yeah? Alright, give thanks. Alright, check this. So, we need the government of Jamaica, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and the Jamaica Defense Force to please reaffirm themselves with information that came out a long time ago. The British High Commissioner, who works for the British Crown, came to Akongpong no less than 3 to 4 years ago. Well, no, within the last 5 years, and they reaffirmed the treaty. This is not the Ambassador Anu making up a story. This is not Chief Richard Currie making up a story. This is not the people of Akongpong making up a story. This is geopolitical information that needs to be spread throughout the country. That the Maroon people are a sovereign people. People don't like us to use that word, right? They don't like us to say that we are sovereign when we are sovereign. So to Deputy Superintendent Minto, when you make a claim that you want to arrest a sovereign leader of a sovereign people and sovereign land, you're making an absolute battery of the law. That is you're actually creating a criminal act, right? And there is a way how we deal with that, because the treaty speaks to that, and there is a due process to that. You cannot be threatening to arrest a sovereign leader, and you cannot decide that you're going to be taking indigenous assets out of an indigenous territory and using government badness in Maroon territory, right? You are the one who called Chief Richard Currie over there, so we almost could think this is a setup, right? And then you're making threats, and you had an officer who pulled a firearm and tried to enter the bus, while Chief Richard Currie have a higher rank than any one of those officials that were on the scene. You are trying to enter the bus to try to somehow intimidate and make an arrest, right? The international community has been notified. Our international partners have been notified. We have been in contact with the United Nations. We will be talking to the necessary international partners and parties and entities and stakeholders that have interest with the Maroons, to let them understand of the infliction, constant infliction, discrimination, right? And the stress, duress, and coercion that we're being placed under for no apparent reason other than government badness. That's what I wanted to curtail it as, right? There's a due process of the law, and the due process is that if you are going to enter Maroon territory, that you do call the chief, the leader of the Maroons, which you did, Deputy Superintendent, and we did come onto the scene and we tried to de-escalate a situation. And when we found out that you were taking and escorting Maroon lumber out of the territory, we kindly requested that the lumber be stamped, because this is the law. Because if you don't follow the law, you are actually committing a crime your own self. And we explained that to you, that if you drive and escort and pilot this lumber out without a stamp, you are committing a crime. No, I'm not sure if your ego or all the egos of the officers were bruised, but this is the law. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's not something that we're trying to play with, but to try and threaten our chief, and to try and say you're going to arrest our chief, and then say you're going to come to a compound, and then call military intelligence. We intercept in communications. We have our own way of understanding when you guys want to come, when you guys are coming. And it is stupid. I would just say to our international community that somebody must speak to this government and explain to them. This is the second time that a member of the JCF has either attacked or inflicted wounds upon a Maroon. There will not be a third time. And that is why we're putting out this information, because there has to be a line that is drawn. Right? You're pushing people to a certain element. We have been very diplomatic. And I'm telling you, this is not something, and I'm going to be very respectful, and I hope this is taken in the best way, because I know that this video can be taken in any narrative and spun anyway. Words can be used anyway, and to try to portray people as if they are some rebels. We are not rebels. The treaty protects us as sovereign people, free people on this island. Right? Who don't like that word? Kick rocks. Right? A compound will not under any circumstance take any threat from any entity that they are going to either try to kidnap, arrest, or take our chief from us or from our territory. It will not happen. And to any one of you that believe that you have some plan that you're going to try and embarrass a compound and grab our chief, this is not going to be Zozo. This is not going to be a curfew. This is a country, a government, since we need to talk like that is going to respectfully declare and proclaim their self-defense, their right to self-defense, the right to self-preservation. Do not threaten a compound town. Good night.